Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
What is this, episode 15?
Good job. You remembered this time. We're episode 15.
I didn't
awesome.
even have to count my fingers and toes. Episode 15, 2 kitchen tables and a mic.
Episode 15. We're back in our normal place. I know last week we had a little bit of or a week and a half ago, we had a mix-up, or a little bit, not even a mix-up, but it was more of my house. And it was a weird angle, a weird everything, but it was great.
Yeah, speaking of weird angles, I think we had like a dead plant. We had some stickers.
Yeah, it was one sticker.
It was a very unflattering angle.
It was. It was pretty bad.
It was so unflattering that Shane said, hey, before I load this onto YouTube, I want to get your okay. And I knew right there that it was bad.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I tried to be inconspicuous and just kind of like gently bring it into the fact that I really wasn't feeling good about how I looked on it, right? And I was like, so what do you think, man? You good? Are we good?
And I said, well, I definitely look like a big load of trash, but you know what? It was great content, and hey, this is what we look like.
This is what we look like.
You know what? When it comes to social media and stuff like that,
yeah.
Sometimes, well, I'd say 90% of the time, you only see the good.
That's true. Filtered, edited, good stuff that you normally see.
Best angle. Why is a selfie so popular?
Right.
It's because it's you taking a picture of yourself, and
yes.
you have control over what you look like,
yeah.
the angle you hold the camera at.
Right. Yep.
So sometimes it's not as flattering as we'd like it to be.
Right.
But hey, it's real life.
It is real life. I think that's great, though, because we were just talking about, before we got started here, about how we feel on social media and how social media can really kind of bring some things to the table that, you know, whether you're in weight loss community, or whether you're trying to lose weight, or whether you're trying to gain muscle or run marathons or whatever, social media can be a really good thing. And then social media can also be something that is not necessarily all that good of a thing, right? Something that can really kind of wear you down after a period of time, you know? Sure. So we were just talking about how we have to feel good about where we're at and what we're doing, just looking at the last videos that we were on. But also, like you said, when you're controlling things like selfies and those kind of things, it's not necessarily the reality of real life sometimes, right? It's not.
No, it's, you know, we want to portray our best selves.
Right.
You know, I've done some live cooking shows. It's definitely been, you know, hey, what am I supposed to do? This is what I look like. So
right.
I know when I'm doing well on my meals and exercise plans. When I do a live cooking show,
yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I look all right. And then, hey, when it's like January,
yeah,
December, and I'm doing one, I'm like, ooh, not looking so great. Here I am telling you, this is what you need to eat, this is how you need to cook.
Right.
So, yes, we're always a work in progress.
We are. Always.
Both of us are very transparent about our journey.
Yep.
And yeah, hey, you know, you lose weight, you gain weight, you lose weight, you gain weight. It happens. Exactly. This is real life.
It is. And you know what? That's why I love this, though. I love YouTube. I love Instagram and all the things. Although, like I said, social media sometimes is tough because you're your own worst critic.
Oh,
you look at yourself on those things. You're like, oh, look at me, or I wasn't a good light or a good angle. But I love it because for me, it's a level of accountability, but it's also a level of, okay, it's a good temperature gauge for myself. To be honest with you, like John said, in January and February are some of the worst months that I usually have. It's just because I'm pasty white. I'm not feeling good. I'm eating okay. I'm not eating great. I'm you know, gorging on things I shouldn't be gorging on. All that stuff. Right. And then when the summertime comes around, I'm active. I'm out. Right. I'm about all that stuff.
Hit me up in July when I get a nice tan.
Right. Yeah.
I'm eating right. I'm being active. You know, that's when I'm like, hey, yeah. But you know, it's life. This is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, the end result and the end game is this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah. So
you're gonna have those times because we're dealing with social media and because we're sharing our stories and we're here on YouTube doing our show.
Right.
You're gonna see that good and you're gonna see that bad and
right.
You can't hide that stuff.
No.
You know? It's just part of the whole journey. It's part of life. And we can't really hide.
No,
because I know when he gets quiet because we hold each other accountable.
Yep.
And when I get quiet, it's because I'm struggling.
Yep.
It's because when you struggle, you kind of, whether it's you get down, you get blue, you get embarrassed, whatever it may be, when you're dealing with social media, you can't really hide.
No. And it's funny because we were just talking about how sometimes we, like on our Facebook page that we can have some months that are so engaging and people are just all over the place commenting and liking and posting videos and posting stuff.
Engagement's way up.
And then all of a sudden, on the flip of a switch, it goes down to almost 0 to nothing. And we're going around going, whoa, that's crazy. But it's, like you said, it depends on how you're feeling. It depends on where you're at. It depends on where you're at with your journey. If you're feeling good about yourself, you're more apt to go in, hey, look at me. Look at what I'm doing. I'm working really hard at this.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling as much like you normally are, you might close off and hide it. You know what I mean? And go, all right, I'm out. I'm not going to talk about it.
Life happens. You know, here we are. We're trying to navigate this whole weight loss journey thing.
Right.
We're trying to do the right things. Here's the thing, like, my journey and your journey is, you can't judge someone's journey, your journey by someone else's journey.
Right.
My achievements in what I'm doing and where I'm at is going to be different for you.
Right.
So what works for me too as well, you know, maybe you like to drink diet soda and I don't, you know, maybe you eat Whole Foods and I eat you know, Twinkies, whatever it may be.
Right.
Whatever works for you doesn't necessarily work for someone else. And I feel like sometimes we get judgmental. Sometimes we judge ourselves. Sometimes we judge other people. There's really no, like, right or wrong.
Yeah.
There's really no, like, absolute.
Right.
Right?
Yep. They're all opinions. And opinions are everywhere. Everywhere you look, there are opinions. Attitudes are everywhere with those opinions. Even when you look at some of the medical studies of certain things, there are opinions of people. There are opinions of doctors to say that this might be something, even though there's probably something to stand behind it a little more than just me going, hey, these wheat thins are going to be really good for me or whatever. Right. But even a doctor makes his prognosis based on opinions, based on those kind of things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And my cup of tea might not be yours.
Right.
You know, you might like this magical protein bar, and I might think it tastes like an ass. You know? I might like these bagels, and you might be like, man, that's not my thing.
Right.
So, like I said, you kind of got to do your own thing.
Yes.
You know, you surround yourself with people in a supportive community that are kind of on the same page, but it doesn't necessarily mean you need to compare your journey to someone else's.
Right. And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, just support people. That's it. Listen, if somebody gets on there and says, hey, I drink a Diet Coke every day, and you may not, in your heart of hearts, go, I'm not agreeing with this, one of two things could happen. Would be so much better if you just scrolled on and not really talked about it, right? And go, okay, well, I'm not going to give my own opinions of that, because maybe this does work for this other person, and maybe it is something that is a guide for them to be successful. Or the other part is to look at them and say, hey, great job, man. Good job. It doesn't hurt to kill them with kindness sometimes, right?
No, I agree.
At the end of the day, social media, that's kind of part of this whole dynamic of what we're talking about. Is I love the fact that we're in a place where we can actually lift people up and be positive about certain things, but we don't use it enough. We don't use it enough because we're in such this space of behind keyboards, behind stuff like that, and we're kind of sitting back there going, I do it all the time. I'm not going to lie to you. I try to change my view a lot of times where I go, all right, if I said something that's going to be not hurtful, but it's going to be, maybe somebody will look at me and go, oh, why would you say something like that? Then I know I shouldn't say it, right? I shouldn't say it. So I have to check myself. I have to literally go, I shouldn't say that. So I'm either going to be a supportive or just go, all right, I'm just going to scroll and keep going. And
you need to practice that some more often. I think
do I do that all the time?
I think you're like a pompous ass. I don't know. Isn't that your thing?
Yes. Man, Shane Pompous Ass Lakita. That's my last name.
I'm playing, man. You're good.
Right.
It's true. No, you need to check yourself. It's and we all have bad days.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know? Yep. And we all see things that we might want to say, ooh, don't do that, or that's not right. You know what? It might be right for them.
That's true.
For me, I see someone that's like fasting,
right,
for the whole day and then eating one meal. I'm like, how the hell is that sustainable?
Right.
You know what? If that's what works for you, and that's something you can sustain, and that's something that you find success with,
right.
I could never do keto.
Right.
I couldn't do it. And then it's like, then there's just so many different ways to maintain or lose weight.
Right, and everybody's journey's different.
And to be honest with you, weight loss and health, just because you're eating something in order to maintain weight or lose weight,
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean it's the healthiest option. And the healthiest option doesn't necessarily mean it's going to help you lose weight.
That's true.
You know, it's funny. You know, people just assume, well, that's healthy because it's helping me on my weight loss journey. Well, you know, so are almonds and you know, nuts and peanut butters and
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's not going to necessarily help you. You know, if you're on a diet that's calorie deficient, you know, and that's how you're going about your weight loss journey,
Yeah.
those things aren't going to help you.
Right.
They may be healthy in
Right.
whole foods and
Yep.
you know, healthy fats and stuff like that, but you might find another option that is going to help you on the journey.
Yep.
I don't know. Neither one of us is an expert in either one of these things.
Clearly, no, I'm not.
You might hear me next week saying, you know, stuff your face with nuts. I don't know. I already tell you to eat bird balls. You know?
Stuff your face with nuts.
That's my newest hashtag. Stuff your face with nuts. So
I love it. That's pretty.
But
No, it's good points. It's good points. And at the end of the day, like we said, everybody's on their own journey. Let's just support each other and pull each other through. And then also, if somebody does look at you and say, "What are your opinions?" Hey, John, what's your opinion on this? Then okay, then it gives you a little bit more of the, "Hey, this is what's worked for me," or
Yeah.
whatever. Those kind of
Sure.
things do help. It's just when you get into the judgmental phase and the phase of you shouldn't do that.
I see a lot of that.
Yes.
I see a lot of that. I call them the Cool Whip police.
The Cool Whip police. Okay.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
so any of you guys that know me or follow me on social media, you know that I do a lot of baking with protein powders and this kind of powder and peanut powders and
Right.
you know, Cool Whip and all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
That works for me.
Right.
That might not work for you.
Right.
That works for me. But just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean that I'm wrong
Right.
or
That's true.
I'm a failure. And I feel like you see a lot of that.
Yeah.
And you can't push that lifestyle on someone who is only eating whole foods.
Right.
I mean, if you're a vegetarian, you're not a vegetarian.
No.
I've seen you eat meat.
Yeah. I eat steaks.
If you're a vegetarian, right? That's your thing. That's the way you are. And
Right.
if you're a normal human being like me, I'm only playing.
Oh man.
If you're a meat eater and you're not a vegetarian, if you're everybody else,
Yeah.
you know, that works for you. You can't
Right.
like tell someone they're wrong or push your lifestyle on someone else.
Yeah, and the other part of it is we're not really pushing, right? Even when I share something that might have worked for me, or you share a Cool Whip recipe or whatever, at the end of the day, you are just sharing a thought and something that worked for you at that moment in time. Sharing is different than pushing. Sharing is much different than looking at somebody to say,
Yeah.
you need to do this.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do to be successful. Much different than going, hey, this is what worked for me, guys. This is when I was working back in the day, I got the big ass waffle. I'm putting a little bit of whipped cream on top of that one or whatever, a Cool Whip. And like literally, if that worked for you, great. But I'm not going to judge you for that. Because of whatever Cool Whip stories I might have or whatever. Not going to happen.
Cool Whip is getting a
Cool
lot
Whip is
of
getting a lot of love on
this. This episode is brought to you by Cool Whip.
Cool Whip and what's the nuts phrase? I don't even know who said stuff your face
Stuff your face with nuts.
All right, great. So that was one of the topics that we were talking about earlier about how we playing in the space of social media around Instagram and Facebook and the YouTubes and everything else. You know, it's a really tough environment to play in, to really keep your head up and keep your head high in certain times, and then also can really bring you down to low points too. So it's just one of those balances that we have in this space.
When you start judging yourself and comparing yourself to other people that you may follow on social media, maybe other people that you're friendly with that might have started that weight loss journey at the same time as you, or maybe after you, and they're having more success. You just got to stay in your own lane. I know it's cliche, and I know everyone says it, but it's what you got to do.
It's so true. You do you.
And as just being human beings, we love to compare ourselves. And what's that other cliche thing? Comparison is the thief of happiness.
Joy. Yeah.
Happiness, joy, whatever.
Yep.
I screwed that one up.
That's all right.
So yeah, man, stay in your lane. Do your thing. it's funny too, and I know you want to get to the question.
No,
you're scrolling.
No, I just opened it up. That's all.
It's like when it comes to this weight loss and wellness and healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
Whatever you want to call it. What do you judge success by? What is success to you? Is it making healthy decisions?
Right.
All week? Is it being active? Mm-hmm. Or is it what you weigh on the scale that week?
Right.
What is your success goal? What is your judge? Like, what do you judge your success with?
How do you measure it?
Yeah, how do you measure yours? Success? What do you do?
So for me, it's all about how I'm feeling. That's how I usually, because I was just sharing with John earlier that I know when I'm not feeling all that great about where I'm at in my journey, whether I'm not eating all the things I should, or I'm not tracking the things I like to, or I'm not getting as much exercise as I do, I get in a really bad mindset, right? And I start to really kind of get down, and that's how I know that I've got to make some changes, because I don't feel like I'm as sharp as I normally do. I don't feel like I can make a positive influential decision on anything because I'm still stuck in the mud. I'm still feeling kind of down about myself. So for me, I can usually use a good barometer with Crystal Cupcakes. She's usually a good barometer for me because she can usually tell, you might want to go to the gym, or you might want to eat a little bit healthier right now because it's like a bomb's going off.
I don't know how to operate my watch, so for the rest of this episode, we're going to hear the alarm go off and on. Go on.
So Crystal Cupcakes helps me out a lot, because what she'll do is she can usually read me pretty well of going, I can tell when he's not in the zone, and he's not feeling it. And she'll put a little feeler out there sometimes to say, hey, you might want to go for a walk, or go to the gym or whatever. And I'm always like, she's doing it from a loving place.
Sometimes I want to tell you to go take a hike too, but
take a walk, pal.
Let's go take a hike.
Right, well, that is true. There's probably some of that too, but for her, it really helps me because that's my barometer. I can usually measure it out to say how I'm feeling and how I'm responding.
So you judge success by how you feel more than these other things. That's interesting.
Now the scale.
That kind of goes hand in hand, though. I feel like you feel great when all these other things are probably coming into play.
Right.
When you're eating right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
When maybe your clothes fit you a little better.
Yep.
When the scale's doing what you want it to do.
It's all intertwined.
Yeah.
If this, I could be feeling really good about myself, about how I ate for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and how my clothes are feeling a little bit better, and then I hop on the scale, and the number might not reflect that, and so then it gets in my brain a little bit more, and I'm like, oh man, seriously, it works. What's happening?
That pesky scale, huh?
Right. So it's really a lot just about, I know when I'm in a good spot. It's just when the right frame of mind. But all those other things you were talking about have to coincide a little bit for me.
What I want to get at is these are all important things. So you need to, if you are chasing a weight loss goal, like a lot of us are, having these other measurements of success before you step on that scale and after you step on that scale are so important.
Yeah.
Because no matter what those numbers say, even if your gravitational pull is different on that day and not where you want it to be, all those other great things that you judge your success with are just as important, if not more.
Sure. Yep.
So whether it be your fitness tracker and your steps, making healthy decisions, if you're tracking or counting macros or whatever you're doing, if you did that consistently, these are all things you need to take with you as success.
Right.
I did this and I did that, and maybe those numbers aren't where I want them to be, but I'm doing the right thing.
It's so true.
And eventually everything falls into play.
I talk about it a lot on the podcast too, and a little plug to the podcast, but I talk about it a lot on the podcast of making sure that we remember some of the things that are going on. Little big ass plug?
I'm not plugging anything.
So on the podcast, I talk a lot about how do we. So if we're just quantifying something by just a number, or like you said, one area of where we're at with the journey. So if I'm a weightlifter and I'm looking to get defined, or I'm looking to and I judge it just based on the fact of how I'm looking or where I'm at with that. If I'm not celebrating all the things that I'm doing along with it, all the positive things that I'm doing, I'm really never going to get to where I have to get to, because you're going to have good days and bad days.
Yeah.
Your brain's just going to, it's just how it works.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're wired to not feel all that great today, but you got to remember some of the things that we're doing to move forward in the positive space. So that's a really great point that you bring up, because they're all just as important to be able to continue to push forward. Yeah, look at you, Mr. Smart Guy.
I'm today. Like a wizard.
This guy, man, he's like Harry Potter. I
don't have this big beard for nothing. It's my wizard beard.
All right, so I got a couple questions that came in through 2 kitchen tables and a microphone. One of them is from Denise Harley Girl. Great talk about steps a minute ago. She wants to ask us, can you talk about step goals and how they can lead to bigger goals?
And I didn't even know that that was a question.
Yep, and that's a question.
Well, I got to tell you one thing. I dusted this bad boy off.
You have.
2 weeks ago. And it's been the best decision I made in a long time.
That's awesome.
Because I've been moving my ass.
A lot of steps.
Yeah. So I was just in a Fitbit competition this past week.
Yeah.
With some like maniacs.
Yeah.
Way out of my, like, talk about staying in your lane. I pushed it. Now it's not something I can sustain at all.
Right.
And I know that. So I know I'm not going to sustain. I think I averaged over 30,000 steps a day. Over.
That's
I had
crazy.
one day I was 52,000 steps.
Yeah, you sent me a picture.
Yeah.
I went, whoa.
That'll never happen again. Unless I'm wearing my tracker and I'm running from the police.
Oh, I was going to say, unless you're running for your life.
If there's like a manhunt for me, if my wife goes missing and they're searching for me, and I got my tracker on, you might see that number again.
Yeah. I'll be like, why is he at 75,000? Oh, he's in trouble.
Yeah, he killed Domenica. It happens. Yeah, it's not sustainable, but I love that I did it, and my alarm's going off again. I love that I did it, and I feel great doing it. And I'm so much more, like, aware of my movements. Like, parking my car further away, or just,
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It was about 5 episodes ago of 2 kitchen tables and a microphone, which is about a month and a half or so. And you said you wanted to do that. You said, I want to break it out. I want to do it. But then a couple episodes went by and you said, I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet. What was the hold up on that? Was it just the fact of the sustainability piece you were worried about?
Well, I burned myself out before because I tried, doing 30,000 steps as a sustainable lifestyle. I thought I could sustain it, and I ended up burning myself out.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
So I just tossed it in a drawer and never see it again.
Yep.
And I feel like when you put things out there, like I did, it was either on a Facebook Live or one of these episodes where I put it out there that, hey, I want to get back into a fitness tracker.
Right.
And someone in the community had called me out and sent me a message and said, I'd love to invite you to this challenge this week. And I was like, well, I haven't got it yet. Well, she's like, well, I'm sending the invite now, so go get it. Yeah. I had to, put my money where my mouth was.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what's so great about the community.
That is
because
cool.
they call you out.
Yeah.
It's accountability. So I haven't taken it off since, except when I have to charge it.
That's great.
And when I won't move. No, I'm just kidding.
It's charge. Okay, we're ready.
But no, what an incredible competition I was just in last week, and I didn't think I could do what I did.
Yeah.
And
so did you use those, as Denise says, did you use those to lead towards bigger goals, or were you just focused on the steps? So what she's asking is, how can step goals lead to bigger goals outside of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm getting to it, man.
Oh, sorry. Whoa.
Well, I don't know if this answers your question or not. Shane's yelling at me.
I am. I'm barking at him.
But someone's got to have control over it.
It's true.
But I pledged to myself 2 miles a day.
Yep.
Obviously, I've done well over that.
Right.
So that was my step goal, kind of. I can do 2 miles a day. That's doable. Mm-hmm. That 2 miles turned into 5 miles, turned into 10 miles, turned into 20 miles.
Right. So I like that.
So it's almost like.
But hear what you said. You set attainable goals.
I did. That's what it is. It's something that I feel like if you make a sustainable, attainable goal, I know we've talked about this before.
Yep.
That you can commit to, which is my 2 miles, and I think that to me it's like it doesn't matter how busy my day is, what I'm doing, I can do 2 miles a day. That's doable every single day for the rest of my life.
Yep.
That turned into a lot more. Yeah. So I'm okay with that.
That's perfect.
So that led to all this.
More and more, and I love it.
I feel like my energy level's higher. Yep. I like a little bit of that competition too.
Yeah.
I miss that.
It does matter.
Yeah.
It does matter. So I got the Apple Watch. And so the Apple Watch, when I first got it...
You don't want to hang with me.
Well, I don't want to be in 50,000 steps. Were you kidding me? So I got the Apple Watch. What was good about the Apple Watch was I first got it, it was a bad experience because I didn't have anybody that was also on Apple Watch with me. So I missed the competition piece. So I was like, all right, I put that on the shelf and I went back to the Fitbit.
Yeah.
And so then I picked up the Apple Watch again.
I don't mean to laugh at you because you have no friends. I'm sorry.
I know. I had 0 Apple Watch friends. And so then this last time around, there was a bunch of people that had Apple Watches that now we have a community of about 8 or 9 of us that actually, you do individual goals.
Yeah.
So it drives me where I'm like, okay, you know what? I could lay down on the couch and be a couch potato now. No, time to get up. I got to get up, get some steps in, got to go do my thing.
If you don't have some sort of fitness tracker, I encourage you. It can be life-changing.
Totally agree. Yep. Okay. So you answered that very well, my friends.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to yell at me.
I had to bring you back on track, man. I had to bring you back on track. Okay.
Whatever.
So the next question that I have here is from Lizzie Jones. Lizzie Jones shares, she wants to know if we follow the WW Freestyle plan, an older WW plan, or just plain calorie counting. She wants to know what we're doing in our journeys. Sure. She said freestyle didn't work for her, and she's gone back to the points plus is what she's recently done. Yeah. So she wants to know our journey. So you got something to share about that, buddy?
That's like a whole show on its own.
It is.
I don't want to get into the whole freestyle, smart points, points plus thing. I'm going to say this. Okay, personally, what I do, I follow a plan that works for me.
Yeah.
I create all my recipes with the current Weight Watchers point system. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I'd throw it out the window right now, but I love this watch. And I'd probably break my window because it weighs about 40 pounds.
300 pounds. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that's what I do with my recipes. I share them all with the current Weight Watchers.
Right.
Calculations. Does freestyle work for me personally? No, it does not.
Right.
Does it work for some people? Yeah, absolutely. I hear these great success stories.
Me too.
Are there a lot of people struggling with it?
Sure.
I hear a lot of people struggling with it.
Right.
I know personally I struggle with it. I know you struggle with it. I know a lot of people who silently struggle with it because they might represent the actual corporation.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like you got to do the plan that works for you.
Correct.
I count my macros.
Yeah.
You know, I follow a couple of different tracking programs. That's what's working for me right now.
Yeah. So Lizzie, from my perspective, it's similar to what John's is. Certain plans, we've all been down this road. Anybody that's struggled with weight has been down many different roads trying to find what works for you, right? And something that might work for you at one moment in time, 6-7 years later or whatever, may not work 6-7 years later. So you still got to continue to find, right?
It's so true.
Your body changes, your age changes, your metabolism, everything changes.
Habits change.
Correct. Yep. So the point I'm making is that you've got to figure out what works for you right now. Right here and now. So whatever it is that you're trying to be able to do, like John said, some people with freestyle, it works. Some people, I went back to the last iteration where I'm in the SmartPoint world, where I track everything. Everything that goes into my mouth, I have to track. Only because if you give me the whole freedom of 0 points, or, you know, they're not called free or whatever else they're called, for me, I struggle with that. So I've talked about that on previous episodes. But for me, I've got to track everything that goes into my mouth, because if I don't, my accountability level goes down. And if I start slipping on that accountability, I need direction, I need focus, and I need boundaries. So for me, that works. So for anybody that's out there, if you're just doing macros and micros and calorie count, I see you smiling at me right now.
There's a lot of hand movement. Go on.
There is. I am all over the place.
It's almost like you're an Italian. I swear.
Oh, hey, yeah, good, right?
Now I'm a little offended.
So my point is, do what works for you. Yeah. You got to figure it out. You got to tinker with it a little bit, because certain things, if you're not speaking up to the fact of if something doesn't work for you and you're just kind of going with the flow, that could really be bad at the back end. So get in front of it. Start thinking about how can I change things up a little bit, right?
I want to say this, okay? Yeah. I'm going to say this. And it's not going to be popular with a lot of people, but don't be guilted into following a plan that does not work for you.
Right.
Some people are so loyal to a plan that they will follow it to the ends of the earth, even if it's not the right plan for them.
Right.
And
that's easy to do.
And I also feel like just because it's not working for you and you're vocal about it, that's going to help a lot of people that are struggling.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you need to be attacked by the people that it is working for.
Right.
Or attacked by the people that are very loyal to a brand.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I really wish that more people were transparent about their experiences with certain weight loss plans. Unfortunately, they're not. And I don't blame them, because I've seen some nasty stuff.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's a horrible plan. It's just not the right plan for you.
Right. And just like we opened with earlier, this weight loss community is very much a social network. And when you're in the social network, we opened up with earlier, if you see somebody else that's doing something different than you are, respect them.
Yeah.
Lift them up, encourage them. Say, hey, listen, you know what? That worked for me in the past, or that works for other people. Go for it, man. You just keep focusing on those macros and micros or whatever else you're working on. Support people. Lift them up. Lift them up. Pull them through.
I love when you say micros and macros.
I know.
Just makes me happy.
Well, you know, it's true though, right? I mean, these are the terms that we hear a lot of in the
I'm sure in the next
dining and
6
weight loss
months
community.
there's going to be another plan.
Right.
You know, counting sheep.
Yeah.
No.
No.
That was a joke. We're not going to be counting sheep. You didn't even listen to what I said.
I didn't. I'm reading this thing.
Now my goddamn alarm's going off again. Go ahead. Next question.
Oh my god.
You just
that's
yelped.
too funny.
You just yelped my joke.
I did yup them. I thought you said counting cheap. Actually, I didn't know what you said.
I said sheep. Sheep. You should know. You live in Maine. Don't they have sheep in Maine?
Well, no, we don't have sheep up in Maine.
What the hell do you have in Maine?
Moose, baby, moose.
Got lobsters.
We do have lobsters. All right, next question is from DMV Jester. All right, this is from our Instagram feed. It says, just love you guys. My question is to you, Mud. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I'm always ready.
Always just for you. Here we go. How much time do you spend in the kitchen coming up with new recipes? I love cooking and being in the kitchen prepping stuff, but haven't really attempted to invent something new.
Yeah.
She did finally try the Chinatown pork sliders. OMG, huge hit in my house.
Those are good.
So the question, how much time do you spend in the kitchen?
Not as much as I wish I could.
Yeah.
That's my answer. I wish I could spend more time in the kitchen. Unfortunately, I got too many jobs and too many bills, and the one job I wish I had was to be doing this stuff and being in the kitchen and developing recipes. I wish that was the main focus.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
It will be.
When you sometimes you do go back and rekindle some of the older recipes and things like that, whatever, all the time, and I love it because it plants a seed in our heads, because Crystal and I both cook a lot of the foods that you have made in the past.
Yeah.
And so I love it when you do it, because it reminds me of something like the brownie and stuff like that. So we're like, oh, we gotta do that. When you get into the mode of I've got to invent something new or do something new, what's your thought process look like with that? Like how?
My thought process is usually what I'm feeling. Like what am I craving? Okay. Or it could be simply in front of the TV and I watched an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, or I watched. There's a local program here in New England called Phantom Gourmet.
Oh, yeah.
And they hit up a restaurant with this killer burger.
Yeah.
Or this killer whatever. And I'm like, man.
I got to do that.
How can I make that work?
Right.
Or, it just could be out of necessity. I need to eat something.
Right.
I can't run to the store right now. I have to make something new.
Right.
Hey, this is a hit, so I'm going to share it. I enjoyed it. It works for me. Maybe it'll work for someone else. So that's kind of my thought process. I don't really plan it.
Right.
It just kind of happens.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how often do you throw away and refocus and refire? Like.
Oh, there are so many things that you guys never see and never will see.
That's great for them to know, though, because they're like, Mike just puts out crazy recipes.
There are so many failures, and I used to way back.
Yeah.
3 years ago, I used to post those too.
Oh yeah.
And I stopped, but there are a lot of things that just it's a waste of effort, time. It hurts.
Yeah.
Money. It gets expensive.
Yeah.
It gets expensive throwing away stuff that just is a failure. And please, I don't need the emails that I'm wasting food and stuff like that. Okay. If it's edible, I'll eat it. I promise.
No, that's true.
I know this, like...
The reason I brought it up, though, to be honest with you, is that a lot of people are afraid to get in the kitchen.
Yeah.
They're afraid to go out there and just put a pan on the stove or put something in the oven.
It's hard, man.
The reason I share that is because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that they don't see, that you've made mistakes and you've done stuff to be able to get to where the recipe, the final thing that people try.
I'll tell you right now, I will only share things that I enjoy and that I will make again and again and again. And that goes for a product recommendation, an ingredient recommendation, and I'm always trying new product and ingredient. I'm always looking for what the heck is going to make my life easier.
Right.
That's what I share. I will not just share something for the sake of sharing it. That's why you might see a lot of recipes over and over again.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy them and I make them over and over again and they work.
I think it's great that you do that.
But
I do.
If I ever get to the point where I'm just doing it because I feel like I have to or because I feel like I need to, then, I'm going to hang it up.
Right. Yeah, because it's the love for it and the fact that you're also curbing some of those things that you want to be able to do.
Someone will say, is this all you eat? And no, of course it's not.
Right.
I'm eating chicken breasts and I'm eating, fish and lean meats and salads and stuff.
Yep.
You guys don't need to watch me grill a chicken.
Right. No.
I want to show you how to make a cake.
Right, yeah.
That's going to fit your macros or that, it's going to fit on your Weight Watcher plan.
Right.
That's what I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you, hey, look, here's my, kale and soup and here's my, I eat that stuff. Come on.
Right.
But that's not the stuff that, you don't need to come to Mud Hustler to see that. You need to see how can I make, a triple-decker tiramisu waffle.
Right, that looks phenomenal.
That was awesome.
It looks so good.
That is my favorite big ass waffle. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. You got to try it.
It looks great. I can't wait to have one myself. I looked at that and said, okay, that's coming up soon because we make big ass waffles all the time.
Yeah. So I try to make it fun. I try to show that you can do these things. So that's why I do it. So all you people that are like, man, what's wrong with this guy? All he's doing is all he ever makes is these crazy cakes and brownies and obviously that's not what I live on.
Right. No, I love it. Well, you do balance it out though. You've got balls.
I try because my wife gets on me and she's like, hey,
let's get something else here.
Let's show the people the other stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'll do that.
No, I love all of those things. And DMV, thanks a lot for the compliment towards the Chinatown pork sliders, man. She loved them. That's awesome.
I'm gonna have to make those again soon.
Yeah. So that's it for the questions, man. I think we had some good stuff here today to talk about.
Yeah.
Social media. Yeah. Don't hide. Come out. Talk about your story. Share stuff like we always talk about, right? To be able to do those kind of things and just keep on adding to the community and lift people up and let's support each other.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to cheer someone on. If someone's being successful, if someone's more successful than you, it's okay. Right. It's okay to cheer for them.
Right.
It's all right. It's so not gonna hurt you.
No.
Because it's being envious or being judgmental because someone else is having more success or might be in a place where you wish you were.
Right.
It's not going to hurt your journey by cheering them on.
Right.
It's not going to hurt your journey by telling them, hey, you know what? You're an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
If anything, it's going to make you feel better.
Yes.
It's going to make them feel better. It's just let's lift each other up. I'm sorry. I just have to get that out.
I love it because at the end of the day, if you compliment somebody else and you lift somebody else up, your frame of mind changes instantly. Instantly to go, oh man, I feel really good about that now.
It's so funny that I know because I'm human. Yeah. You're human. I've been guilty of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen someone having great success. I've seen someone doing good things. I've seen someone in the place that I wish I was in. And I get envious.
Right.
And I'm not, and I don't.
We're human.
And in my head, I'm like, man, I wish that I was there, or I wish that I did that.
Yep.
And I'll scroll on by, you know?
Without stopping and going, hey, great job.
When I really should be like, you know what?
Yep.
That's terrific. I love it. Or you really inspire me.
Yeah.
It's just because when you do stuff like that, and when you keep it inside, and you judge yourself, and you're comparing yourself, and you can't cheer other people on, it's like poison.
It is. It does.
So lift each other up, man.
Lift each other up. That's what I'm talking about too. Hey, great episode, man. I'm lifting you up. You look great, man. You look great. See that?
Doing it right?
Is he doing the heart?
Get your hat on. Get your hat on, everybody.
That's awesome. All right, so episode 15. That's it, man. Until next episode. Right?
That would be episode 6.
That'll be episode 16 next time around. Thanks for all your questions.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for all your comments, everything else. Subscribe, like, share, all the great things that we do on the YouTubes. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.